What's up, everyone? Blackwater Drowning is an American five-piece metal band out of North Carolina, where my parents live. And seamlessly, the band blends emotive, melodic elements with gut-punching, visceral riffs, resulting in a dynamic musical experience with universal appeal. So I would like to welcome the vocalist of Blackwater Drowning, Morgan Riley.
Hi.
What's going on? How you doing?
Good.
So I'm reading here, you have a debut album coming out on July 8th called Sandra Satori. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, making sure I'm saying it right. So it's via Blood Blast distribution, and I read that the album was written during the pandemic.
Yes, it was.
So obviously we know many bands held out hope that after the pandemic was over that they'd work on new music, but we know how that's gone because we're still sort of in it. So How soon into the pandemic did you guys start writing the music to the album?
So we actually started writing it probably mid to late 2019, just slowly putting together some songs. And then we scheduled some studio dates at the beginning of 2020. And of course, that's right when COVID hit. So we had to postpone for like a month to see what all was going on with the world. And then we had a COVID scare inside of the band. Everyone was fine, but then we had to postpone again for several more weeks. I don't think we finished it until, I think it was maybe August of 2020, something like that. I can't remember. It was over several months.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it took you several months to get it done. Obviously, just trying to get into the studio during the pandemic probably was the hardest, along with, like you said, trying to keep everybody healthy as well.
Yeah.
So I'm also reading here, you guys have a whole bunch of tracks on the album. You have 8 of them. So that is what makes it the LP. So I don't want to go over each one individually, but just kind of give us the breakdown of the tracks on this album. Like, does it all flow into one message, or is each one individual, or how did your writing style go with all this?
So this album is very much episodic. Every song is about a different subject and different things. It's not all, some is emotions, some is world events, some is really I don't even know what you call it. I had a word for it and it went away. Esoteric, I guess.
Esoteric. Okay. I gotta look that one up. So
hopefully I'm using that right, but I think that's the word I mean. Just about other planes of existence and things like that.
So I'm looking at the video that was released too. I actually watched it a little bit ago as well. It's called Mortal Coil, and it uses a very cool kind of like overlay of you kind of just jumping, not really jumping around, doing your thing. How do you like doing videos compared to being in studio? I mean, obviously doing a video, you're kind of lip syncing, but are you actually really ripping it up while recording?
I actually do some vocals, not as forceful as I would on stage because you're doing a million takes of this music video. Sure. But I still have to produce some sound to make my face look right. So I do actually perform while I'm recording music videos.
So what I think is funny is when I see videos, sometimes you could totally tell when they're just mouthing it.
Right.
It just doesn't look right. And you're like, oh my God, it's like, just sing.
Even if you're
like, they're filming. Nobody can hear you anyway. They're not recording it. So just go with it. So
yeah, it has to match. It looks weird. People don't do that.
So yeah, it's just kind of weird. So I got to ask how the Blackwater Drowning members all got together. You got, obviously, you as the vocalist, you got Jeremy and Ron as guitarists, bassist Aria, and then drummer Chris. How did you guys all get together?
So we all knew each other through the local music scene. Jeremy and I started it back in early 2014. We had known each other for a long time, and we just happened to both be looking to do music at the same time. Okay. And we came from very different bands. I was in more of a hard rock band, and he was straight up more death metal.
Death metal, okay.
And I'm I want to do more metal stuff. I'm a metal vocalist, but I still want to sing, which is how we kind of settled on this melodic death metal European style. And the rest is history. We found Adia very shortly after, and Chris and Ron. We just all gelled together. It's been a really fun time.
And you were talking about the Eastern European or just European vocalist style. And one of the bands you've played with, Ginger, which is Tatiana,
Yes.
you guys played with them. You also played with Soulfly. How did your style kind of then mold from the rock to the more of the screamo at times metal as well?
I just really liked doing harsh vocals. Even before I got into the band that I was in before, I wanted to do harsh vocals. Like I heard Arch Enemy and I'm like, I want to do that. And there wasn't a whole lot of room for it in the previous band that I was in. Like I had some parts, but not anything intense. And going into a new band, I'm like, okay, I want it to be like 50-50, sometimes more, sometimes less, but it just depends on what the song calls for. But I just want to do all the things.
And when you played with Ginger or any of these other bands that you've opened for, do you ever talk to them or kind of just get a little vibe of who they are or anything like that? Do you ever ask for like, opinions on things or just styles or anything like that?
Yeah, if I get the chance, I always like to talk to any larger bands that we're playing with. Sometimes I stay on the tour bus, and I know
most of the time.
Yeah, which I don't blame them. Like they got to stay healthy. They got a whole tour ahead, and like one Grammy sick person can ruin it for them.
Yeah, that's especially now. Yeah.
And then even on the show that we played with Ginger, we were talking to their tour manager, who was super cool, and she said that Tati had been getting like weird stalkers and even like death threats on the tour. So I'm like, okay, well that's totally fine for her to like not be in here. Then I understand. People are crazy.
I actually got to meet them. I think it was 2018 over in the Chicagoland area. Actually, it was Wisconsin. But yeah, and that was told the same thing. The tour manager was like, she has a lot of stalkers, which I hate to say I can see why, but it's just unfortunately kind of like the nature of how men in the genre act, and it's obviously not the cool thing to do.
Right, it ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, it does ruin it for everybody. So I'm going to kind of go this route. So in the past several years, obviously, you have the influx of the female vocalists who are now dominating metal. You got Tatiana, you got Mixie of Stitched Apart, Courtney of Spirit Box, yourself as well. So what do you attribute to the rise of the female vocalist in metal?
I think it's just starting to become more mainstream and accepted, and you're starting to see women in a lot of traditionally like male dominated spaces, and they've been there for a long time. It's just now with this kind of new wave of metal where it's more, I guess, accessible to more people.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of space for women in that, because metal has become, it's still a niche genre, but it's less and less of a niche, especially when you add in like some singing choruses and things that people who may not be metal fans can relate to, and women relate to that too. I mean, before like I really knew a whole lot of women who were doing metal, I heard Arch Enemy and I wanted to do that, and that's been like 10-15 years ago now, and we're just now starting to get some more mainstream recognition for it, instead of being I don't know, for a while I felt this feeling that women in metal were more of a what do you call it, like a I'm gonna say this sideshow kind of thing. Yeah, like a sideshow.
But unfortunately, kind of early on, a lot of it was sexualized, and a lot of it still is. But you can obviously then separate the talent from the non-talent.
Right, absolutely.
Like you have like Lizzie Hale, who the reason why I brought this up was her comment at Welcome to Rockville a few weeks ago, where she's like, a few years ago, she was like, I'm the only female that was up here doing this. Now look across all the stages, it is being dominated by women. And she's basically exactly right, like I said.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's really cool to see more and more women doing heavy music.
And another thing I kind of attribute it to is your vocal range as well. Most men can't really get to those high notes compared to a lot of the women that can do it too. So you know, and
Yeah.
plus, who wants to see every dude on stage look like me anyway? So
It's good to have variety.
I can't dye my hair purple or green or anything like that. So it doesn't
here.
I can do it. I have done the beard green, so check out my socials for that. That was for St. Patrick's Day, though, so we'll go for that. So, as you know, TikTok, Reels, Twitch, all that fun stuff, and other live streaming are important for band success. Well, at least most bands say this. How has it impacted Blackwater Drowning, or has it impacted you guys with doing TikTok and Reels and Twitch and all that?
Oh my God, we're so terrible at the social media game. Like we're
I was checking yours out, so you know I kind of had to throw this one in there.
Yeah, like we try to do better, but we're definitely, none of us are like attention-seeking type people, or like people who have to have their entire lives on social media. So trying to have a social media presence as a band to further the band does not come naturally. We did a TikTok and it did pretty well. Then we had like a silly video from the studio where Adia's wearing this weird elephant man thong. I don't know why it was there. And she put it on and was trying to do a helicopter with it.
Oh dear Lord.
It was 2 years ago. And right now that video is sitting at 1 million views, over 1 million views. For some reason, it just started blowing up like a month ago. And it's so weird. You get people who think it's funny, and then we've gotten like so many hate messages over it. I'm like, over a silly like 10-second video, it's ridiculous.
So what? How could you get hate message? Like, what are they saying?
So weird. They're like, oh, trash or things like that. I'm like,
oh, it's easy to say shit when you're sitting behind a computer too, or your phone.
It's,
so, you know,
the more
say that in person to somebody and see what happens.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't say it in person.
No, they'd be like, "Oh, you're the best. You know, we love you." Da 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 da. It's all,
Like,
it's all, as I say, the keyboard warrior people that are out there doing that. So one thing I noticed too is a lot of bands, besides doing, like you said, the funny stuff for TikTok or Reels, actually just kind of conversing more with their fans. So. Yeah. And just kind of being yourselves, just kind of doing like a little 15-second clip in studio or something like that. Do you think that would impact your band more if you were to incorporate that?
Yeah, absolutely. And we try to remember to do these things, but then we get caught up in the moment and we're just doing things and forget to record it. And then afterwards we're like, damn, we should have recorded that.
That's something that I'm kind of coming to grips with too, because I'm trying to learn the TikTok game. But again, even though I like being on screen, I don't like to just make a fool of myself. So I'm trying to come up with stuff, but I don't want to look like, you know, an old fogey either, just kind of being like, oh, let's talk about this. I want to make it something music related that is just topical, that kind of works for what I do. Cause I do a radio station too. So it kind of all kind of molds into one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's important. Unfortunately, it's important now for the growth of bands. And many don't know how to do it. I actually just did my first podcast on a new podcast I did last week about this exact topic. So. Yeah,
it's such a hard thing to manage, like trying to keep some modicum of a personal private life, and then being accessible but not too accessible. What do you put out there, and then not looking real dumb when you do it. I don't mind being silly. That's fine if it's intentionally so, but like it's really hard to balance all that, and we haven't found a really good middle ground.
And that's the thing, like you said, trying to find a middle ground, trying to make it yours rather than trying to be somebody you're not. So for me, it's always been about who I am and kind of like the persona of what I'm trying to put out on what I'm doing, rather than just being like, hey, look at me dance. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to be a monkey in a suit and just dance around. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
I feel you.
So the music, obviously we were talking about the pandemic earlier. So the music industry obviously took a major hit since 2020. It's already been two and a half years. So man, what did you do with your spare time during the pandemic, or did you learn anything new? What did you do?
I spent a lot of time. I got a kayak, and I spent a lot of time outdoors.
See, I've been looking for a kayak since the pandemic, and I just don't want to spend too much.
I got like the last one in Charlotte at the time. But I still that did foster a newfound love of all things outdoors. And I picked up yoga, and then we were just writing music, even like stuff that's not on the album yet. It's for the next one. We've got like 5 songs already.
I was gonna say, you better have at least extra music already up there. So
Oh yeah.
cool. And you were saying, you know, you did the yoga, you did the kayaking, which actually the last time I kayaked was out in Asheville, North Carolina. This past, actually, it was Christmas when it was like 80 degrees that week. So
yeah,
New Year's.
that was weird.
Yeah, New Year's it was like 80 degrees. So we went to the lake and we went kayaking, my son and I.
Asheville's beautiful too.
So yeah, it's a beautiful place. And so you didn't like learn cooking or play the harmonica or anything like that?
I've always been super into cooking, so I just got really crazy with my meal planning and like running my house. I got really, really into that. And plants. That was a new thing. I've always killed house plants, and now I have like 50.
Really? 50?
Yeah, I have a lot of plants.
50 house. So like, I mean, name some of them. What the hell do you have? Are they flowers? Or are they just like hanging?
I have like three or four different orchids, a bunch of little succulents, a couple ferns, a fiddle leaf fig. What else do I have? An alligator fern that's pretty cool, a miniature rose, a little bonsai, a couple pothos.
Ooh, you got a bonsai too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a little bit of everything. Little rubber plant.
So you figure you collect those now, is what you say? Or
yeah, I definitely do.
Is there anything else that you collect? Like, as you see behind me, I have a lot of music memorabilia, so I can't go that route. Is there anything that kind of you gravitate towards?
Tarantulas. I have a couple tarantulas. I used to have a bunch years and years ago, and I've recently gotten back into that.
Okay, so how many do you have now?
I have 2 right now, but I'm going to get some more.
All right, and I see you have some tattoos. Any chance you have any tarantulas as tattoos?
I don't have any spiders really. Like, this is probably the closest one. It's like a sort of a spider, but it's a skull.
Yeah, sort
thing.
of. Okay.
It's mostly like flowers, and I have Audrey 2 and Lily Munster.
Well, that's
and
cool.
Some other
there you
bugs.
go. So those are your favorite ones right there, those tattoos, right?
Yeah. I also have most of my right leg tattooed. It's like a jellyfish. It's a lady in a ball gown that becomes a jellyfish, and on the back of my leg I have like a kraken.
And where did you come up with that idea? Did you? I mean, the tattoo artist, when you talk to him, you're like, I want this lady in a dress to turn into something that turns into a crack. Like, how did that come about?
So I have I've found this piece of art by an artist called Ray Caesar, and it was called Ascension, I believe. But it was this lady in a ball gown and it became a jellyfish, and I'm like, that is so cool.
You already had the image then, basically, that you wanted to go.
Yeah, I had the concept, and then they just made it a reality. So
that poor tattoo artist didn't have to just make something from mine.
Yeah.
Because that would have been rough for him. Hey, yeah, make this out of the. Oh no, that's not it.
Like,
Yeah, he'll be like, lady, can you do it for me? Because I have no idea what you're looking for. So, all right. So you have obviously a few shows coming up as well. You have one in Michigan. I thought I saw at some festival. Is that correct?
Yes. Michigan Metal Fest.
And who else is going to be on that one?
I think Attila is headlining, and Green Jelly is on it. Raven Black. There's another big headliner, and I am really blanking on that right now.
No, I should have probably looked that up before I cast the question, but I didn't, so that's my fault. But so that's in August, it looks like here. And then you have 2 shows actually this week. So you have, what is it, Saturday night you're at the Piedmont?
Saturday night we are at Tribbles.
Piedmont, South Carolina. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we're playing at Tribbles with some friends of ours and Black River Rebels, and Award to Win. And then the following Friday, we are in Spartanburg, South Carolina, opening for Suffocation.
I saw that. Now, if there were any bands that you could play with that are out there now, who would they be?
I would love to
together
play
your perfect 5-band lineup with you. So 4 others.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 others. Arch Enemy, Ginger, Spirit Box, and Venom Prison.
Okay. That was out of left field one. So I got to check them out.
Yeah, they're excellent. They just released an album, I think, earlier this year, and it's been one of my favorites. It's so good.
Well, I definitely have to check it out. So say the name of the band again.
Venom Prison.
Venom Prison. All right, I will.
Yeah, they're from the UK, I believe.
Search that on my phone right now and find that. And obviously, you have the album coming out on July 8th. So you have 2 pre-shows coming up for that. Do you have anything else in the works besides those 3 shows? Like anything that you're not supposed to tell, you can tell me where I won't say anything.
We have some support dates on the way up to the Michigan Metal Fest in the works.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be going out with another band that's also from this area. Going up there would be super, but we'll see. And then we're planning on doing some more regional support dates for the album later in the year, like September.
Are you trying to get on Blue Ridge?
I would love to get on Blue Ridge, but I think that their submissions are closed.
Did they even announce the lineup today? Because they said they were at noon, and when I looked at an hour afterwards, it wasn't up yet. So
yeah, they I just saw an announcement after I got home from work that they had to announce that Ginger would not be able to attend.
Yeah, I saw that one, obviously, because of the whole Ukraine thing. And
yeah, they were hoping that they would work out, but then they're like, we have another surprise headliner for Friday, and they haven't announced that yet.
All right, so stay on for 1 second. I'm gonna look this up to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
They actually have released the says full lineup announced. No. Damn it. They haven't announced.
They're waiting on one confirmation.
So yeah, that's probably what they're doing, because it says stay tuned.
Yeah.
I was hoping Sorry guys for ruining your afternoon by not giving you the full lineup of Blue Ridge along with Morgan here. So I do appreciate you joining me here on I'm with Badass Productions. And by the way, feel free, plug where to find you, where to find Blackwater Drowning, where to find the album, do all that right now.
All right. Well, you can find us on any digital service provider. We are on Apple Music. We're on Spotify. You can find us at blackwaterdrowning.com. We have an awesome Shopify store where you can get everything from shirts to hats, your traditional stuff, to flip-flops and bathing suits.
You should get mugs too.
Ooh, we should get mugs.
Cheap plug right there for Badass Productions.
Hell yeah.
So, and then I just friend requested you probably about an hour ago, so we probably haven't seen it yet, but yeah, he was looking you up and just kind of seeing what I was getting involved with. So I appreciate you joining me, Morgan.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And again, you can check out Blackwater Drowning. You can find them all over the socials. Check out their album, their debut album, Sandra Satori, due out on July 8th via Blood Blast Distribution. And David McDonald, thank you for doing this, getting this interview set up with us, because it was fucking badass. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
All right, Morgan, appreciate it. And until next time.
All right, bye.